coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor. This is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Hutton, and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. Easter wouldn't be complete without an old-fashioned Easter egg hunt. Samantha Wakefield reports.
It was an old-fashioned tradition that had many families gathered in Jackson Park to hunt for eggs and celebrate Easter. Breakthrough Walls Church in Windsor organized the hunt, along with an area for kids to decorate plastic eggs. Jonathan Nantis, the lead pastor of the church, said he was a little surprised at the turnout of the event.
We've obviously got more children than we expected. I believe there were 700 children that have been registered for this event. We were only anticipating a couple hundred, so it's much bigger than what we thought.
According to localhistories.org, the Easter Bunny was originally a hare, as the hare symbolized fertility. But the Americans were unfamiliar with the hare, so they redubbed it a bunny. The eggs, however, came from the Middle Ages rule of not being allowed to eat eggs during Lent, which is 40 days before Easter. At that time, Easter eggs were painted red, but towards the 18th century, people were painting them different colors, filling them with little treats and giving them as gifts. In the 19th century, Easter egg hunting turned into the tradition most of us know today. Catherine Roberts, a volunteer with the church, said her family has always hunted for eggs, and she's excited for today's events with the children.
I love to help out with things like this, and I've never seen this many people ever. There's so many people. I heard there's going to be a lot of people registering online, but I didn't expect this many people to show up today.
With Easter over and spring kicking off, Mr. Bunny can hop along till next year. I'm Samantha Wakefield for MediaPlex News.
Let's head on over to our weather station where Alex Latrimwe will keep us up to date with the weather. How's the weather like, Alex?
Well, John, after all the rain that we've had this weekend, it is so nice to see the sun again. It's currently 9 degrees Celsius, but watch out because that'll cool down very quickly to 0 tonight. And that's all for now, but I'll be back later with your 3-day forecast. Jonathan?
There might be some delays in store if you're headed to the States via the tunnel. Kenneth Bullock tells us more.
The roof is coming down at the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel. The Detroit-Windsor Tunnel Organization announced renovations to its tunnel ceiling and more. Construction is set to start in May and is expected to end in December. During that time, the tunnel will be closed from 9 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. Sundays to Thursdays. Trevor Pierce, vice president of the tunnel organization, said there will be constant updates regarding the tunnel's availability.
We have a number of community outreach programs. We put those into high gear last week, which is when you saw some media releases going out.
However, workers in Windsor's entertainment industry are concerned. Dan McDonald, the host of many events in both Windsor and Detroit, said these late-night closures may affect his commute to work as well as the public's access to cross-border events.
The events always, it's usually concerts or ticket drops. They end after 11 p.m. So that will absolutely affect me going across. It'll probably be a bit of a headache. It's going to create some congestion on the bridge.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Kenneth Bullock.
A community health fair was recently held at the Waterworld Gymnasium. Abbas Wali was there to bring us this report.
The community-university partnership among several different organizations and the community have come together to help Windsorites for a better understanding of their health. Nursing student at the University of Windsor, Sarah Clark, says the program works with the university and the community. This is to involve the community and make residents aware of the programs Windsor has to offer and to provide them with funding and health information.
Us as nurses, we work with social work students to try and just make the community a little bit better and help out those who are less fortunate than us and who live in subsidized housing.
Senior project manager Cheryl Taggart says besides the health fair, the community university partnership's main goals are to bring communities together and to be safer, happier, and healthier within their neighborhoods.
These kind of getting together as a community and as a group is really important because it allows people to come together as community when they see their neighbors and they recognize that we all have the same kind of questions, we all have the same kind of concerns, we all need the same sort of help and support, and when we work together there's a real collective impact on the outcomes of it.
The Waterworld Gymnasium in downtown Windsor hosts the health fair put on by the community university partnership to educate public for a better lifestyle. This has been Abbas Wali for MediaPlex News Now.
Gambling addictions is the topic of today's 3 Minutes With. David Dyke sits down with Chelsea Ramadi to find out more.
Hi, I'm David Dyke, and today I'm joined by Chelsea Ramaldi, who is the gambling counselor at Hotel de Grace Hospital. Chelsea, how's it going today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Chelsea, now you were, along with being the gambling counselor at Hotel de Grace Hospital, you were also tasked with the furthering the knowledge of the internet dependency and video game addiction program. So who does the program cater to?
So we cater to basically anyone above the age of 16. Now, I realize that digital dependency also affects people who are younger. However, our mandate requires us to only treat people over 16. That being said, parents who are looking for information on how to support their children or how to better manage their time on screens, they're welcome to come and use our services as well.
So what would you say the program involves so far then?
So we have a very comprehensive program. We're best known for our 21-day residential treatment program, which is 21 days of just intensive group therapy. It's a very holistic approach, so it involves exercise therapy, it involves art therapy, individual sessions with the counselor. So we are the only ones in the area who are doing this. So this is one of those programs that we're very, very proud of and has a very good success rate. So for anybody dealing with a digital dependency, there is absolutely no cell phones or video games involved in the 3 weeks. There is access to certain, we call it cinema therapy, so certain films and things like that, but all of them have a therapeutic purpose. And we also have our outpatient treatment groups as well. So if you're local and you want to just sleep at home and do the day treatment, you can do that. You can come in once a week for group therapy, and we also have individual sessions available as well.
It's interesting that Windsor is the only city in all of Ontario to cater to people with gambling habits. Would you say is Windsor also the only place that caters to video game addictions as well?
Well, there are other places throughout the province. We do have designated sites that can refer to us who deal with gambling and have certified gambling counselors there as well. And CAMH is treating digital dependency up in Toronto, but we are the only ones with an actual comprehensive residential treatment program. So the reason for this is we were granted this opportunity. Actually, our program coordinator, Sean Rumble, brought it to us from Thames Valley Addiction Services. And we've just been building upon what he's kind of started, and it's been really great. Mm-hmm.
So why would you say these problems are specifically an issue here in Windsor-Essex County then?
I wouldn't say they're specifically an issue. The gambling, of course, you have the proximity to the casino. In terms of digital dependency, it is an issue across internationally. So, but at the same time, we do find that areas that are affected by any economic downturn tend to turn to technology and video games because they are a cheaper form of entertainment. So that could be one correlation, but I don't have the exact data on it, so I can't say for sure.
So how would you say addictions like internet dependency or video game addictions, how would you say they can be just as serious, if not more, as a drug dependency or an alcohol problem?
Mm-hmm. So this is a very common misconception. People believe that behavioral addictions or dependencies are less serious than, let's say, a substance abuse issue. But what you'll find is the effects of the addiction are very much the same. People suffer physically, people suffer economically, it breaks up families, it really does, it can ruin lives. So what you'll see is that even the withdrawal symptoms are very much the same, from people withdrawing from behavioral addiction to a substance addiction. So, and it's really hard to believe until you see it. When we have the gamblers withdrawing, I mean, they get sweaty, they get nauseous, they get irritable, much the same as someone coming off of a substance. So. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Chelsea. That's all the time we have for today. You've been watching 3 Minutes with Chelsea Ramaldi. I'm David Dyke from MediaPlex News.
Our mental health is a topic we all need to talk about. Shelby Hernandez tells us more.
Teachers are trained to be educators, but oftentimes they find themselves playing the role of mom, dad, social worker, counselor.
Teachers and guidance counselors work hard to encourage school involvement and eliminating bullying, but staff are limited in how much they can help, especially with more severe mental health issues. Public Relations Officer for the Greater Essex County District School Board, Scott Scantleberry, says that there are mental health nurses and psychologists available for students who need some help. However, they only provide help for short-term mental health issues, and some are only available on an on-call basis. That is why Scantleberry says it is often up to teachers and guidance counselors to identify when they think they see a larger mental health problem. Teresa Piskovic at W.F. Herman Secondary School says staff always communicate with each other about the issues they may see. But the more important part is to know what role each person plays.
We have to be realistic about where our backgrounds and our expertise is, and be able to recognize when it's something that does really need something more than what could be provided by, a guidance counselor or a child and youth worker or someone in-house.
Scantlebury says mental illness in schools has definitely increased and more resources are needed.
It's got to be a cooperative effort, not just with the public sector in health and education, but the private sector as well.
According to Scantlebury, the Ministry of Education is hosting a mental health summit in April. He says the Greater Essex County District School Board will definitely be putting a team together to attend. For MediaPlex News, I'm Shelby Hernandez.
Students at the University of Windsor take the topic of mental health seriously as well, and Caleb Workman was there to bring us this report.
Women working with immigrant women brought in the University of Windsor graduate student group, the Community Action Group, to talk to immigrant youth about their mental well-being. The open discussion workshop brought up the topics of what is mental health, how someone can identify if they have a mental health issue, and how to overcome and grow from that. Dragana Ostajic, clinical nurse and psychology graduate student, said immigrant youth are especially susceptible to mental health issues because of the stress of the move to Canada.
That this is not a unique problem if they are having one, and that there is a system in place to help them. They are not going to have to do it alone.
Eva Keatley, also a psychology graduate student and workshop organizer, said they wanted to show the youth the resources they have available to cope with mental stresses.
Really today the idea was to get them thinking about these things, because I don't think that they're having a lot of people in their lives probably who are having them talk about mental wellness.
The workshop used a mix of teaching and activities to get across some points and help the youth see if they are struggling with any mental stresses, even if they weren't aware what they were struggling with. The group will be holding another workshop April 19th at the Cogeco Club and says they hope to continue to help immigrant youth. For MediaPlex News, I'm Caleb Workman.
There are some changes at the Adventure Bay Water Park. Jonathan Martin brings us the details.
Windsor's $78 million aquatic complex isn't making enough money to keep its doors open. The complex is split into two sections, the Adventure Bay Family Water Park and the Windsor International Aquatic and Training Center. The Adventure Bay portion of the facility hasn't been seeing enough walk-in business to meet its operational costs. As of Monday, March 21st, Adventure Bay cut its hours by 25% to help reduce its losses. Jennifer Knights manages both Adventure Bay and the Aquatic Center.
Over March break, we were seeing in general between 1,400 and 1,600 people per day, which we like to see. Sometimes during the work week or the school week, we were seeing numbers of between 25 and 50 people in the water park, and certainly we need to have more than that.
Kim Geniak received an annual pass as a gift from her grandmother. The pass expired a few months ago, but Geniak says she has no plans of renewing it.
And maybe during the summer we might try and get out there, but so it's like we have our things that we're trying to save for, and I can take the kids on the bike path around here and get right to the Balmer Center in not a lot of time.
Knights says she's expecting many people to follow Geniak's plan. She's going to return Adventure Bay to its normal operating hours at the end of the school year. Until then, she says she's actively working on ways to add value to those who still have an annual pass. Adventure Bay is now open Thursday through Sunday. For MediaPlex News, I'm Jonathan Martin.
Now let's head back on over to Alex Latrimwe, who has our 3-day forecast. Alex?
All right, well, it looks as though we've had record rainfall this month, and it will continue throughout the week. So let's take a look at our 3-day forecast. On Wednesday, we can expect it to be mainly sunny with a high of 14 and a low of 12. Thursday, it's back to the wet stuff as it will be rainy with a high of 16 and a low of 4. Finally, on Friday, we will see a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 10 and a low of 1. And I do believe that's it for our 3-day forecast. Back to you, Jonathan.
Ojibwe Park is a popular place to visit, especially as the weather gets nicer. But don't feed the deer. Rhiannon Lotz explains.
Ojibwe Park is home to a wide variety of animals, including squirrels, birds, and deer. According to a recent species count, there are more than 60 deer in the park, which doesn't sound like much, but actually means they are overpopulated. The overpopulation of the animals isn't the only thing strange about them, though, and many park-goers, like Brent Hathaway, have started to notice.
We definitely see deer on the trail, and they're quite friendly. As long as I keep the dog away from the deer, not to startle them, they'll come up to you, and they're very tame.
The reason the deer are so friendly is because many visitors to the park feed them, thinking they're helping the deer to stay fed during the winter. Unfortunately, this may be doing more harm than good, according to Tom Prunny, a naturalist at Ojibwe.
A lot of the stuff that people are feeding the deer, it's not good for them. For example, people feed deer corn a lot of the times, but what corn does is basically swell their stomach, and they think that they're full, but they're not getting the nutrition that they need from that corn. So being that they're getting used to humans and they're relying on people for feeding, they're crossing the roads more frequently to get to people's backyards that are putting out the food.
The park's proximity to major roads makes the deer especially dangerous to drivers whose cars they are now less afraid of. According to Statistics Canada, thousands of car crashes involving animals like deer and moose happen every year.
The best times of day to see deer are dawn and dusk, but if you do happen to see them, remember, please do not feed the animals. For MediaPlex News, I'm Rhiannon Lotz.
Food quality and sourcing is a big deal to many. Sean Breville has the story.
There's a new business people are sinking their teeth into. And after only 3 months, Chris James of Macro Foods says orders have increased at a surprising level.
The first week we started maybe a couple hundred orders. The second week then we started to get closer, 500 orders. Now we're upwards of hitting almost 2,000 meals a week.
James says it's all about convenience.
I sell a convenience. I give you health and easy eating to you.
Orders are taken online and delivered right to people's doors. The products focus on health, providing either a balanced meal or one that is carb or vegetable heavy. Sarah Ducharme says people are looking for healthy food that tastes good.
I think everybody's leaning towards eating healthy, and the health market is on a very, very huge rise.
The business currently makes their meals downtown in the Rockefeller Lounge and delivers Wednesdays and Sundays. So you've seen how Macro Foods makes their meals, but what do they taste like? I went into the newsroom and asked a couple of our journalists to give it a try.
Alrighty. This tastes like heaven. I like that.
I think I need to try a second piece.
I would buy this. I'm actually surprised it's healthy. It doesn't taste healthy.
James says if business continues the way it's going, they plan to move into their own store. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Sean Preble.
The YMCA is getting some fancy new digs at a new location. Alex Latrimwe reports.
Construction on the YMCA's new athletic facility is well underway. Located on Central Avenue, the multi-million-dollar building will include a pool, indoor turf, and batting cages and will replace the area's ice park. The Y's general manager, Andy Sullivan, said they're relocating because demand for their downtown athletic center has diminished.
It wasn't sustainable for us to be downtown anymore. So, we really looked at things, and the fitness side of things was really suffering, and we weren't making the impact in the community as much as we wanted to.
However, according to Jackie Rumiel, the VP of Newcomer and Community Services at the Y, only the athletic services will be moving to Central.
Our newcomer programs will be remaining at 500 Victoria, downtown Windsor. We really feel that this is where the newcomers are, and this is where the services need to remain. So we will continue to offer our English classes each day, Monday through Friday, and we will also be offering our settlement program and our youth programs. So they will both be down here as well.
For those who just want to spend more time at the gym, not to worry. With a grand opening set for early September, the Y will be back. For MediaPlex News, I'm Alex Latrimwe.
Extreme dodgeball and fitness are some of the topics of this edition of 3 Minutes With.
Hi, I'm Melissa Muni, and today we are spending 3 minutes with Melissa Coates. Melissa is a professional Canadian wrestler and bodybuilder. She is also best known for appearing in the first 2 seasons of Extreme Dodgeball. So to start off, your first bodybuilding show was held here in Windsor. Could you tell me about that and the experience?
Yeah, it's actually, I have 2 brothers that live in Windsor, and the first contest I did was actually the Windsor Physique Challenge, and I won, so it was great. So there's a lot of ties between me and Windsor.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you also,
good memories.
yeah, and you also recently visited Japan and Columbus, Ohio for the International Sports Hall of Fame. Could you tell me about that as well?
Yeah, I do a lot of traveling. I started in professional bodybuilding. I was lucky to be a really well-publicized fitness model, and I reached 9th in the world at one point in that. And then I went into professional wrestling. I trained with WWE, and right now I work with a very famous hardcore wrestler. That's the style he does, called Sabu, and he built his career mostly in Japan. So now I work with him as Super Genie, which is a takeoff Barbara Eden. So we've been to Japan twice. It was fantastic there, very different culture. We were just there, and I'm still suffering jet lag from that. And then I also keep very in touch with the fitness world, and in the last 3 years I've gone to the International Sports Hall of Fame, and Dolph Lundgren was inducted, Arnold Schwarzenegger has. There's a long list of celebrities that do a lot of work with children, and you know, they present good role models for people to excel at what they do, and they help mentor younger people to get into it. So there's just been amazing, like Randy Couture is in there, Ronnie Coleman, famous bodybuilders, Linda Murray, who won the Olympia. I competed against her. Just a huge list. You'd have to look it up, but it's just amazing. It's amazing, inspirational people.
Yeah. So you did say like they are a kind of role model to children. Here I got something. According to the Wrestling Observer, women are portrayed in the bad light in media and entertainment, like wrestling. As a female wrestler, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the whole thing is it's entertainment, you know, and then you also have to look at, you know, people are going to look at what sells. You know, it's not 1970 anymore, or, well, actually some of the stuff in the 70s was pretty rough too, but it's what sells, and that's how they look at it. And you have a lot of men writing things, but you know, it's entertainment, it's storylines, you know, and people like to, you know, it's true, like even with me for my fitness stuff, like people would rather look at photos of me than, I also train people than listen to me instruct people how to train. It's just what society does with women. You're subjective. Let's look at Marilyn Monroe. She was gorgeous and she felt totally unfulfilled and ended up, you know, dying. And it's just, it's sort of the way society works on women. But, you know, eventually you can hope it changes. But I mean, right now, that's what the focus is.
So thank you for joining me today.
Oh,
I'm Melissa Muni, and this has been 3 Minutes with Melissa Coates.
The Flint water crisis has brought attention to our own water situation. Mark Brown reports.
Water, a necessity of life. A necessity that is hard to come by for people in Flint, Michigan, where a change in water sources has led to multiple problems. But one single source has always provided Windsor with its water needs.
That source has been around for hundreds of thousands of years before there even was a Windsor, the Detroit River. The Detroit River is part of the St. Lawrence Seaway, the biggest system of fresh water in the world, and it's the primary source of water for the 2 motor cities.
We're very fortunate here that we have an abundant supply of good water.
Barbara Pierce Marshall is the Director of Corporate Communications for NWIN, water supplier for the city. She says unlike the water supply in Flint, lead occurrences in Windsor's water tend to be caused by home infrastructure.
Lead pipes in the house, brass fittings with lead content, that sort of thing, that are not part of our distribution system.
Windsor's distribution system is a network of pipes and mains that one way or another lead to one central plant, the Weeks Water Treatment Plant in Ford City. Here, water is drawn in from the river through pumps, treated, and fed through a filtration system that exceeds Ontario quality standards and has been named one of the best in the province. Trained technicians and chemists monitor the system constantly, but Marshall says residents will easily get answers to any questions.
If a resident has a concern of any type at any time, they can always call our call center. From there, it would be a question of talking to somebody knowledgeable inside the company who would be able to advise them about whether or not they may have a problem.
Water problems in Windsor are few and far between, and residents can rest easy knowing their water is safe. For MediaPlex News, I'm Mark Brown.
Cassandra Malinowski visited the Canadian Blood Services Clinic and tells us how we can help save lives by donating blood.
It's in you to give. That's our slogan. Okay, we can't manufacture blood. We rely on volunteer donors to come in and donate blood to help save a life. You know, especially, during holiday or long weekends, patients don't get a holiday from receiving treatment. So we do rely on students to come in and give an hour of their time. It's an hour every 56 days. So it's really not a huge time commitment, but you're actual lifesavers.
William Bergoglio, a University of Windsor student, was one of the many donators.
I donated blood today because it's a good feeling knowing that you can help somebody else, and it's almost no cost to me. It's just a little bit of your time, and then you save a life.
Our Grand Maris Clinic, our Windsor Blood Donor Clinic, we are open 5 days a week from Tuesday to Saturday. So if you ever want to find out when a blood donor clinic is or book an appointment, you can go on blood.ca, or we have this awesome new app called the Give Blood app, where you download it, you register, and you can book your appointment. You can manage your appointments if you need to change it, and it'll tell you all about your blood type as well. It's an awesome app. If you're not great with appointments and keeping an appointment, we accept walk-ins at all our clinics.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Cassandra Malinowski.
A new gym and a young entrepreneur is a winning combination. Ryan Blevins explains.
One of Windsor's up-and-coming athletic facilities is reaching a milestone. King's Performance System Gym, located in the Sandwich Teen Action Group building in Windsor's Sandwichtown district, has been training athletes for around 1 year. Founded by a local high school football player with aspirations of becoming a trainer, King's Performance Systems, or KPS, is now home to a laundry list of athletes. Jake Francis Taylor is the founder of King's Performance Systems and knows the struggles of becoming a young entrepreneur.
Biggest thing is just always trying to target the right audience. Location makes it a little bit harder, so you always got to target the right audience in each location, and then just make sure you get it across that what we're trying to do, and it's not a money grab.
A Barwis Methods certified coach, Francis Taylor, has worked with athletes at all levels, including professional and collegiate. 16 current NFL or CFL players and 3 Super Bowl champions have trained with Francis Taylor, leading student athletes like Dominic Johnson to flock to KPS.
Oh, it's got me faster, stronger, smarter too, if that makes sense to you. And especially with football too. This isn't just for football. This is for any sport, even just yourself.
One thing is for certain: the best is yet to come for King's Performance System Gym. For MediaPlex News, I'm Ryan Blevins.
If you ever wanted to have a tour of the MediaPlex, drop by and say hello this Saturday, April 2nd from 10 till 1. Meet the faculty, tour the facility, confirm your spot, and win some prizes. We'll even supply the coffee. We hope to see you there. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jonathan Hutton, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.
I got a gut feeling with St. Clair that was great, and I definitely wasn't let down. It was just home. I wasn't uncomfortable, I wasn't uneasy, it felt nice. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.